6:30 on your Wednesday morning. Today we are talking to Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward about moving into phase 3 of the state's reopening plan. Is the county ready, or is it too soon to move forward?
And finally, we've got a lot of sunshine across the inland Northwest for today. A look ahead at just how long that can last and if we can still see a few showers or potentially thunderstorms before the first day of summer.
Up with KREM begins now.
Happy Wednesday morning. Thank you for joining us here this morning. We also want to thank Marilyn Demir for sending us this beautiful picture of last night's sunset. Of course, working on the morning show, a lot of us don't get to see sunset images like this, but it's setting later and later as summer approaches. By the way, it's projected to set at 8:51 p.m. tonight. Will you be up to see it? I don't think any of us will, or most of us probably won't be. I don't know what time, Jan, do you normally head to sleep at 8:51? That's way past when I'm in bed.
Oh yeah, sure wouldn't. Definitely do not see the sunset unless we're in the dead of winter, when the sun sets, around 4. In the summer, though, we have the blackout curtains, we have the eye mask, we do what we can because we're all going to bed really early.
But Dana Marie, it's been really nice to be at a time now of the year when we get those sunrise pictures and sunrise views every morning, right?
It's truly incredible. And I mean, just driving to work at 4 a.m., you're starting to see the sun come up over the mountains, and it's such a peaceful way to start my morning. But yes, we miss out on the sunsets. That's okay. We get either one, right?
It does make a big difference. Thomas, you and I were just talking about this before the show started. It makes a huge difference to see the sun coming up that early.
It does. It just kind of brightens up your day. I do want to say I'm probably the sunset expert between the four of us here, especially with my normal shift being 10 and 11 o'clock broadcast at night. So the sunset is a bit more my time. But now, hey, sunset, sunrise, it's beautiful both ways, isn't it?
That's right. Of course, it's also indicative of the sun being up this morning, bringing maybe a warming trend coming up over the next few days. It's so bright out there.
Yeah, it's nice to actually just see the sunshine period out there. A few more clouds over Coeur d'Alene this morning, but there's still a bit of blue sky that is shining just kind of here and there. And the farther west you go, the more sunshine that you are going to see throughout the region for today. Temperature starting at 48 degrees as of right now, but will easily warm into the low 70s and possibly even some 80s out in central Washington for today as well. But those temperatures, this is about where the low temperatures will start today, and will warm things up pretty easily from there, especially with a bit more sunshine. The June gloom weather, if you will, is over Idaho now and moving towards Wyoming and Montana, so it's moving away for us, so we'll get more sunshine, but not completely devoid of rain or storm chances. Those will just pop up later on this afternoon. So if you're looking to get outside, the morning is your best bet because the afternoon you might have to dodge a scattered shower or thunderstorm. So coming up, detailing just who has the best chance to see that rain and just how quickly it will move through our region. That's all coming up in just a few minutes here on Up with KREM. Right now, let's take a look at traffic across the region. We haven't seen too much so far this morning. Same story, but there is a bit of patchy fog out there. So if you are encountering some of those foggy spots, do remember to turn your automatic beams to on, those headlights to on this morning.
All right, Thomas, thank you so much. Well, here are 3 things to know to get your day started. Major airlines could revoke flight privileges for passengers without a face mask. Now, Alaska, American, Delta, Southwest, and United are all just now enforcing the face covering rules. Each carrier will decide what the consequences are for not wearing a mask, including being bumped from their flight. The Idaho Department of Lands is busy preparing for wildfire season, but training will look different this year in light of the pandemic. Leaders say base camps could be more spread out this summer, and they say some fire crews will not be in close contact as they normally would on the fire line. A recession is expected to curtail donations to charities. According to a report by Giving USA, people donated a record nearly $450 billion to charities in 2019. On average, individuals gave 1.9% of their income to charity. Last year's donations, though, are expected to last many organizations through the rest of this year. Well, now we want to check in with Joshua Robinson back in the studio. Joshua, you're tracking how sports teams plan to move forward during the pandemic.
Yeah, Jen, it's definitely a mixed bag because every league is really handling things differently. In fact, earlier this week, we told you about WSU opening their campus up for voluntary workouts for several university athletes. Well, that does include the Cougs football team. Regular testing and symptom checks are also going to be in place as student athletes return. And the NCAA is announcing this week that they're considering a preseason schedule that would help get teams ready for that season coming up later this year. There are still, though, plenty of unknowns with very few details right now set in stone about how college football would work. But if university football programs do stick with the schedule that's planned right now, one of the best parts of college football will likely be missing this year, and that's fans not being in attendance at games. We do want to look ahead by about 3 weeks today when the defending Major League Soccer champions, the Seattle Sounders, are officially headed into a brand new soccer tournament. It is called the MLS is Back tournament involving all 26 Major League Soccer teams, and these games will be important for seeding in the 2021 season and beyond. So these games do matter. The entire tournament is going to take place though in Orlando, Florida, and so fans can't go into the stands. But Major League Soccer is working on deals with broadcast groups like ESPN to make these games available for anyone to enjoy on TV and potentially online. The first game starts 3 weeks from today on July 8th. And this morning we want you to join in our conversation. Text us at 509-448-2000 and let us know if you think sports should be played this year or if fans should be allowed at games. And coming up on the CW22, we'll also take a closer look at the world of baseball and pro football coming up. Checking in now with our own Dana Marie Dana Marie, my gosh, Dana Marie, I've said your name so many times. Isn't it funny?
Hard.
Yeah. Well, Dana Marie has a reason to smile this morning aside from me botching her name this morning.
Oh my gosh, thanks Joshua. Yeah, it's a remarkable story of recovery, the type of coronavirus coverage we can all smile about. So a 106-year-old Washington woman is one of the oldest coronavirus survivors in America. When Fritzy Bryan of Yakima had tested positive for the coronavirus in April, her family thought they would never see her again. Her family drove to Yakima with a big sign in hand and then roses for Fritzy as well. They thought that they could at least wave through her window. There's the sign right there. Her great-grandkids, yes, they could at least see her, but because of state orders, none of her family could visit her, not even through a window. There wasn't even access. So they were pretty upset about that. So they kind of had to wait that out. So after living through the Spanish flu, 2 world wars, she wasn't allowed to let this pandemic get her down.
Well, I worked hard at that.
Was it scary at all?
Well, actually, it went so fast that I didn't have time to be scared. Well, I have a lot to smile about today.
Well, her family says it was her positive attitude and ever-present smile that kept her alive through it all. So after 4 weeks, the staff at the long-term care facility in Yakima says she was symptom-free, gave her family the good news. She had beat the coronavirus and now making her one of the oldest in the United States. One of my favorite stories of the week, just so good to see. And I love her pink sweater with her fur. She's looking fabulous. I love it.
That strikes me as a look Zelda could rock too, Jen, wouldn't you think?
It's so cute. I love it.
Yeah.
I know Zelda would look very good in a nice fur, adorable sweater.
I also love just listening to her laugh. She's got such a great energy and that optimism. You can tell other people are laughing right along with her. It's very addictive. And so good to see that she's got such a positive attitude. Thomas, what do you take away from Grandma Fritzy making it through 106 years like that?
Yeah, you know, I think the battle is, half mental.
Yeah.
And with that kind of positive energy, it not only helps yourself, but it helps everybody around you too. So the more power to you, especially with that laugh. I can't agree more.
All right, coming up this morning here on Up with KREM, we are speaking once again with Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward, this time about moving into phase 3 of the state's reopening plan. Does she think the county is ready, or is it too soon to move forward?
And we're looking to warm things up on this Wednesday after a couple days just in the 60s and even 50s from this past weekend. We'll see how much of that cloud cover we can remove for today as we still track a stray shower or two.